Good afternoon. Good evening. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for joining our Candid Conversations on this Saturday afternoon. I am super excited to have you before us today. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Sonia Wilson Bailey. I am the founder and CEO of Whole Women in Progress, and we have an amazing candid conversation for you this afternoon. We are celebrating Autism Awareness Month, and I have some amazing moms that are going to be on the show with me this afternoon as we talk about this autism-a-thon today. I hope you are ready. I hope you have your drink in hand, your coffee, your tea, whatever it is that you're drinking, because we have an amazing candid conversation show for you today. I have some amazing moms, and we're going to just share our journey with you as autism moms. I want to give you some brief housekeeping guidelines tonight. I want you to feel free to put your comments in the chat. I am all hands on deck behind the screen. It's me. So I'm going to try to make sure that I go back. If the comments come up, I will get them. I got multiple devices I'm going to be looking at. So I'm going to try my best to answer, make sure that we answer any comments that you have in the chat. We have multiple ladies that's going to be sharing their journey of their son or their daughter with us on this evening. And before I go any further, I want to tell you a little bit about Whole Women in Progress, who, excuse me, which is sharing and hosting this event this evening. Whole Women in Progress, Whole Women in Progress is my baby. Whole Women in Progress is one of my babies because I have multiple babies. Whole Women in Progress is my faith-based coaching, my faith-based life coaching business where I assist women to a greater place of wholeness by renewing your mind, rebuilding your body, restoring your soul, and rejuvenating your spirit. And how do I assist you in doing that? Through the word of God. And on this evening, we are hosting this event, and we do this every year because this is a month where we celebrate and we talk about autism awareness. And for those of you that don't know me, I am also a business owner. I am a serial entrepreneur. If you look at my LinkedIn, it's multiple businesses that I do, and I'm also an autism mom. I worked in the arena with special needs children and adults for over 20 years. I've had multiple miscarriages. And I had my daughter Miracle, and I lost her. 6 months later, after that, I gave birth to my son Joseph after being on bed rest the entire pregnancy. Not long after I had Joseph, he was diagnosed at 2.5 to be diagnosed with autism. That was a hit, but I'm going to not tell y'all all of my story. I'm going to let these ladies tell their story, and then I'll tell my story a little bit towards the end. But I have a heart for special needs families and special needs mother, and I'm an advocate as well. But I'm going to bring this lady up that's front and center to you. She is traveling, so I want to be very respectful of her time. She is an amazing, amazing guru. I'm telling you, when I saw some of the stuff that she was doing with her daughter, I was like, oh my God, this young lady is absolutely amazing. And I'm telling you, honey, when y'all get to see her and when y'all begin to hear her journey with her daughter, y'all gonna be like, wow, she is absolutely amazing. But she is all the way in New York, and she's doing some things. So I want to be respectful of her time. So I'll save my stuff till the end. But I want to bring her front and center. Her name is Rashida Brown. And I'm going to bring her up and let her begin to tell her journey. We're going to talk a little bit on this couch, and then we're going to get on into this candid conversation.
Hi, Miss Sonia. Good evening, everybody, and thank you for the warm welcome in the introduction. I love it, love it, love it, love it. Um,
Yes.
so yeah, let's get into it. Let's get ask
Yes.
away, ask away.
Yes, ma'am. First and foremost, I want to tell you thank you that you actually allowed yourself to say yes, even in the midst of your traveling with your newborn. Well, newborn, she's almost a year old. But I thank you for saying yes. And I thank you for just sharing your daughter with the world. I'm telling you, you are absolutely amazing. But the first question that I want to ask you tonight, Miss Brown, is when you saw her, gave birth to her, when you first got the diagnosis, you and your husband, what were your thoughts? What did you
So,
see? Because you might have saw something before the doctors did. What?
so, so there's so many nuances here. So, just to give you an idea of what happened,
Mm-hmm.
we were in the middle of COVID,
Mm-hmm.
and Summy, excuse me, my daughter's name is Summer Rain, but everyone on here, we call her Summy. So Summy was diagnosed with autism at the age of 3. So she received a provisional educational diagnosis first. And for many people who don't know, there's two different type of diagnosis. You can receive a provisional diagnosis, which is basically a temporary diagnosis until you can get that medical diagnosis. In the state of South Carolina and many states, there are long wait lists for people to receive autism diagnosis. So they gave her a educational provisional diagnosis through the public school system. There was a program called school finding. You usually is through the public school system. Since she aged out of early intervention, she was basically she basically had to go through that program. But long story short, when Summy got received her diagnosis, it caught me off guard because we were in the middle of COVID. So we did not have, you know how you get the wellness checks. When your child's a baby, every few months you go to your pediatrician and you have wellness checks. And with the wellness checks, this is basically where your provider is able to check the development of your child. So because we were in the middle of COVID, those wellness checks were far and few. They told us not to come into the hospital if your child was not sick. So there was no continuity of a provider seeing my child. So for the first 2 years of her life, literally, they would weigh her, they would ask me questions and say, how's she doing? Do I feel like there's anything out of the ordinary going on with my baby's development? And I said, absolutely not, because there was nothing that I seen based on, my standards. There was nothing that I seen. I did notice at the age of 2, she was not speaking. She was babbling, but there were not a lot of words. But that did not stand out to me. I just simply thought that she was not around peers her age. I thought there was a lack of like social communication because there were not like people in her age group. We were social distancing. We were in a house. There was nobody, and we had just moved to South Carolina, right? So she was not around family. It was just me and her caked up in a house. So I say all of this to say there was nothing that stood out to me. So there was no immediate concern for me to go and say, "Oh, hey, let me go get a diagnosis for my daughter." How this all came about was there was a pediatrician at her 3-year-old wellness check. Right before she turned 3, there was a pediatrician who basically told me, she said, "I'm going to write you as a referral for speech therapy." She asked me, was Summy saying at least 200 words? And I said, no, no, she's not saying any words. She makes, sounds. And now looking back on it, I know those sounds are vocal stemming. But at the time, I just thought these were sounds that she was making. She was making these sounds because she did not have language yet, speech yet. So the pediatrician basically said, "Oh, I'm going to write you a referral for speech therapy." And I said, "Okay, no problem. I'm a social worker, so I'm open to resources. Like, write any referral you want, as long if it can help my baby, I'm open to it." But because I'm a social worker, I read everything, and anything that has my name attached to it, I read it, and anything that has my daughter's name attached to it, I read it very thoroughly. And when I read her referral, in the notes it says suspect for autism, which she never stated in our in our
In your conversation, she
appointment. Yeah,
never verbally
exactly.
said that to
So
you.
I would not have known that she suspected autism or anything because she never said that. And that like sent me through the roof because I said, as a provider, you take an oath and you need to discuss these things with parents. If there's something that you assess, except especially something like that, that's something serious. If you suspect a child has autism, that would give you the opportunity to facilitate an open discussion with the child's mother to say, like, you know what, this is what I'm assessing. Have you observed this in home? Like, I'm the one who spends most of the time with her, so I'm able to say, like, you know what, I noticed this too, or I didn't notice this, but that would have been a perfect opportunity for us to have an open discussion about her assessment. And she did not give me the opportunity to have that discussion because she never vocalized that to me. But
Wow.
yeah, so that's how it all came. Again, it's so many nuances to the story, but that's how it all came about. And when I
Mhm.
initially, I was pissed when it first happened because I'm like, how dare you just write something like that on a paper and just not say anything? And I wind up calling her supervisor. It was a big situation, but I said I wanted to use it as a teaching moment for
Mhm.
all parties involved because I said I did not want another parents have to
Parent.
go through something like that because everybody's not as diligent with reading documentation. Some people, they
Mhm.
don't read stuff. They would not have been able to catch that. But I caught it and I took my own personal feelings aside out of
Mhm.
it after, and I
Mhm.
sat, and then it made me start observing things more. Like I started to like anything my child did, I started to look at it because now, if you're saying suspect for autism, let me see if there's something that I missed. And I said, what's the worst that could happen if I do have a evaluation? It's either she has it or she doesn't. But we're going to go ahead and still take the referral and have services in the meantime. In between time, I still enrolled her in speech therapy, even though it was a wait list for the autism diagnosis, because I said
Mhm.
it can't make or break her. Like if she has speech therapy, it'll help her with her language and will
Advance
wait.
while you're waiting. So
Exactly.
how long was that period during that time that you had to wait?
So I had she that appointment was in that appointment we had at the end of May of
Mhm.
2020. No, excuse me, not because she was turning 3. What am I talking about? 2020. So we had the appointment right before she turned 3. That was in May. And then I got her enrolled in speech therapy as early as July. She started
Mhm.
speech therapy with MUSC in July. And the medical autism diagnosis she received a year later, but she had the provisional educational diagnosis through the school system where she was able to enroll in school. And basically the provisional diagnosis is through a school psychologist. And I
Uh-huh.
felt like the what is it called, the protocol is very similar to a regular diagnosis. It's just
Uh-huh.
more in depth. The medical diagnosis is more in depth, but they still ask like the same questions. They observe her through a speech therapist, a school
Mhm.
psychologist, and OT. So she got her provisional diagnosis. um she started speech therapy in July. She was assessed in August for her provisional educational diagnosis, and she started specialized education in September.
So
So
she
every
was able to go to school at 3. She was able to
Yes.
hit the door at 3. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
When
what
you
I
have a
wanted to make sure.
provisional educational diagnosis, they
Uh-huh.
allow you to start school earlier so you can get the proper
Correct.
supports that you need. But it's not the
Correct.
full day school program. So it's a half day program.
Half a
They
day.
go to school for about 3
3,
hours.
4 hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Joseph was able to start at 3, and that's what I wanted to find out if she was able to start at 3. Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she got
Awesome. Awesome.
provisional
Awesome.
diagnosis at 3 and then the medical diagnosis at 4. So a year
Okay.
later.
Okay. So she was able to get that speech therapy that whole year while you was waiting for the medical diagnosis.
Yeah.
So
So
you
the
was ahead
speech
of the game.
therapy, yeah, and she's still one thing I will say, and I will encourage any mom on here, although they offer services inside school because she does get speech therapy in school and she gets OT in school, but it's in a group format, I still have outside services for her because I don't want to solely rely just on school because her outside services that I have for her, she goes to speech therapy outside of school because it's an individual session and it's for her needs. And I know sometimes in a group settings, your needs can get lost a little bit
Uh-huh.
because it's everybody, like it's all
It's
everyone
a
in a
group.
class.
Correct. Absolutely. That's a very good point because it's always three or four children versus just one child. Correct. Good work, mommy. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so how is she in the community? How do y'all do with community environments?
So
Church activities like like sports or whatever. How is that?
well, in regards to church, I do want to say shout out to Bethel AME. She is a very inclusive environment for her. I
Um,
was initially worried. So my baby is very active. Like she, in regards to, she still does not have conversational speech skills yet. And I say
mhm,
yet because I'm holding on to the promise that God has placed on my heart. She will speak. She will speak in full sentences. She will be able to converse with me. So she has individual words. She's not able to have a functional conversation yet. So she
mhm,
does a lot of vocal stimming. So in
mhm,
certain environments, I've always been mindful of that, especially in church, because my grandmother was Southern Baptist, and I was raised as you go to church, you sit down, you be quiet, you there, govern yourself accordingly. So I never wanted my daughter, because I knew that she needs that environment where she's able to like move around and she cannot sit still. So I would not send her to church. Like just me personally, I was just like, I can't have her, running around. But Bethel AME, they were. This is my mother-in-law's church. Anytime we go, Reverend Bradley and Reverend Wack are. They say no. Let her, she's able to exist and be herself here. If she has to
mhm,
get up, let her get up. How will she learn if she's not able to have that safe environment to do so? So they do allow her, and that's something that I feel is very important when we stress. We're talking about autism acceptance and autism awareness. Don't scream autism acceptance to me if you're not able to accept my child in her whole being. If you frown your face up at her when she's vocal stimming to self-soothe herself. A lot of people are not educated on what vocal stimming is. A lot of people do not have the patience to deal with autistic children, so
the
they're not.
humming and walking. Yeah.
Exactly. So they may look at you in a funny way. And me, the looks and the stare, I'm not. So I will definitely use those as teaching moments to let people know. But in this environment, she's safe to be herself. If she
Mhm,
wants to vocal stem, they allow her to do it. And I still, say, hey, Summy, come sit down. But they remind me, listen, how will she learn if you do not allow her to go free? So she is definitely, when we talk about inclusivity, that church is a place where she's safe, and they are definitely all for autism acceptance. So she, like I said, she operates great. She's just still vocal. She does vocal she may have a meltdown sometimes if she's if she's overwhelmed. She has a meltdown, and we let her have those like, I'm not one to, I don't create power struggles with my children. She knows, again, and Summy also, sometimes it may be hard for her to process certain things, but I use, if somebody's like staring at me outside, I use it as a teacher moment, because a lot of people don't know. And how can we bring about awareness if we don't educate people? Because if we just allow them to keep staring and have the snarky looks and frowning up their face, they'll never, like, we'll never bring about change. So that's Summy takes up space. I allow Summy to take up space, and I make no apologies for it.
mhm. So for yourself, how do you manage your wellness and your wholeness when it comes to you as a mom? What are some of the things that you have to do to keep yourself well rounded for as a whole woman in progress in managing her, managing your household, your husband? You got a newborn. How do
Mhm.
you balance yourself?
Well, I actually just joined the boxing. 2 months ago, I joined a boxing club. That is something for me. That is a way where I can. I'm in my postpartum journey, so that's a way that I can release, like, some stress. And I work remotely. For those who don't know, I'm a social worker, mental health professional, and I already pour into people daily. I have to advocate for my clients. So the same way I advocate for my clients, I have to advocate for my daughter. So advocacy is a part of my life. Like, that is not just a job. Like, this is literally a lifestyle for me, and I'm mindful that I'm pouring into so many people, and I wear so many different titles, and I'm being pulled in so many different directions, that I have to ensure that my cup is always full, because I know that I can't pour from an empty cup, and I know that my children also buy off my energy. Like, I have a 10-month
Uh-huh.
old, I have a 5-year old, and Summy's very emotional. Like, she can feel like that's my emotional baby right there. So I always want to make sure I'm grounded and recharged. So I decided to do something for myself, get that hobby. I joined boxing. In the boxing class, there's so many different, like, people from different walks of life. I have, elderly women in a boxing class. They have young people, elderly women, elderly men, and it's just something for myself. I always feel that we need to have something for ourselves, because, again, being an
Hmm.
awesome mom or autism mom, it takes a lot out of you, because you have to jump through so many loops and hurdles when advocating for your child. That alone can feel draining. And having to teach and educate people about your child's needs, and that can be a lot. So
And keep your cool. Let's say this: keep your cool.
hmm so yeah, so the way I prioritize myself with self-care, the boxing class, through
Uh-huh.
prayer. Prayer is a big one, because
Mhm.
I don't have all the answers, right? So God is my anchor, and that is who I lean in on when I need support. Um, I lean in on, my family, my loved ones, but some of them, a lot of my friends, and they have neurotypical children, so some of them can't understand. They can empathize, but they can't understand. So
Yes.
I've built a community also, surrounding myself with other awesome mommies, other people who get it, who I don't have to explain my child's behaviors to, because their children are doing the same thing, who I don't have to understand what a meltdown is and what it looks like, because their children are doing the same thing, who I don't have to
Oh,
understand.
goodness.
I don't have to explain those things. And I think that's an important part of, like, getting a village filled with people who get it, surrounding
Mhm.
yourself around people who you don't have to apologize to, because your child is doing something, because they understand and they've been there.
That is so. That is so vital. And I think for me, when I was raising, when my husband and I was raising Joseph, I felt so alone, because just like you said, either my friends didn't have any kids, or they didn't understand. We didn't get in, and it was a season we didn't get invited to birthday parties. We didn't get invited to family functions. And if we did, you got the looks, you got the, you just got that stuff. And I would just say, you know what, versus dealing with that, I'll just stay home. I just didn't want to go, because I didn't want to deal with that, because at that time I was not the person that I am right now. And I would cuss them. They would get some words. So I just, versus go that route, I just stayed home. I was like, you know
Mhm.
what, I'm just not doing that today. So
Yeah.
I totally get it, because sometimes it's not worth it. It's not worth the frustration. You know what I'm saying?
Emotional labor, that all of that, I think, the initial the woman that you are during the initial period of that diagnosis, by Joseph is older now too, right? So you are a totally
Yes,
different person,
totally
a
different.
totally different woman, mom, wife, who you were during that initial period. And those diagnoses change you. And I feel like a lot of times it changes us for the better. Like, our children make us more softer. Our awesome babies, it teaches us patience. They come here to teach us something. And a
Mhm.
lot of times it creates a new within us, because the way I am now, just like you said, the way you are now, totally different. Like, my baby has taught me patience. She has taught me, and prior to that, I probably would have been the same way like you, Miss Sonia. Like, excuse me, with so. I would have, so where I'm at now to where I was, and that's only, it was what, 5 years ago? Well, three. She'll be 6, so that's 3 years ago. 3 years
Mhm.
ago now. So it literally changes you. It changes your life. It changes the dynamic of, who you are as a person. It changes your family dynamic. And it could either make or break you, which is why you have to be so intentional about leaning in, like especially when you have a partner, making sure that you're able to speak to them about how you're feeling and how they're feeling, because I have seen autism and what it does to some families, and how, some children are not invited to certain spaces, and you start to hold a grudge. No, that's why I'm really happy with the village that I have, because we are able to, everybody rallies around something, and I know that that's a privilege, because a lot of families don't have that. So being able to create that village, and village doesn't have to just be your blood-born family, right? Like, you can create your own village of people, friends, um people in the community, whatever that looks like for you.
Exactly. Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you so much for your time all the way in the Big Apple. Thank you for coming in the room. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing Summy with us. Enjoy the rest of your time with your family there. Thank you for coming in. And we definitely have to get together when you get back. We're going to have to do a powwow with all of the ladies that's here today, and maybe get together and all of us meet each other's children or
Yeah,
something. But thank you all for coming in. Thank you so much,
of
Rashida. I
course,
appreciate
of
you.
course, of
And
course.
I
Thank
think
you for having.
the next young lady that's up, I believe she's in the room. Y'all got to give me 1 second too. It's another mom that's trying to get in, that's in the group, and I'm trying to send it to her. Um, oh goodness, I'm not sure how I can send it to her. Give me 1 second. Um, to try to get her this message, and then I'm gonna bring our next beautiful mom up, Miss Harris. Miss Miranda Harris. You on deck next, darling. I see your beautiful face back there. Give me 1 second, 1 second. Is anybody able to drop the link in there again for Miss Aisha Badger? The link that I sent earlier. Can somebody send it to her? Miss Aisha Badger out of Columbia. You can resend it to her through Messenger. I'm trying to resend it to her, but I don't want to cut the stream off. I'm trying to send it to her through my phone. Thank you guys for your patience. Yeah, push it, and let's see where Michelle is. Alrighty, ladies. Oh my goodness, y'all. I apologize. Let me read. Give me 1 second before I move forward. I thank y'all all for coming in tonight. I thank y'all for all joining the room. We got some amazing moms in here tonight, and I am so grateful to have them with us. To have them with us in the room. It's quarter bomb. I see you there, sweetie. I'll be with you in just a second. This is an amazing marathon, and I'm grateful for the Lord allowing us to do this. I know people's lives are going to be touched and blessed from being here. It's absolutely grateful. Grateful, grateful, grateful. It is so awesome to be able to share our stories and our journeys with everyone and touch lives and bless other people, being able to share our journey with them. Yes, absolutely amazing. Amazing. I just wanted to share Rashida's bio. Rashida Brown is a mother. She's a mental health professional, um, advocate. Her major part of Rashida's life is working and advocating for vulnerable adults in the underserved communities, and helping them get the resources that they need to thrive in their everyday personal lives. And she is also a mom of an autistic child. I wanted to read her bio, and I got Miranda Harris that's coming up next. I'm going to read her bio. Miranda Harris. Miss Miranda is an amazing mom. She is absolutely amazing. Amazing. She is. That she is. She is. She is. She is an amazing mom. She is an amazing mother of an autistic son. Every day is an adventure and a journey that is full with adventure and challenges and incredible milestones, she said. My son has taught me so much about patience, empathy, and the beauty of seeing the world through different perspectives. While there is tough moments, the joy and the love he brings into our lives are unmeasurable. It's a journey that he has made me stronger and more compassionate. I would not trade it for anything in the world. That's what I'm talking about. Come on, Miranda. Come on here, girl. Mommy
Hi.
knows best. That's what I'm talking about. Come on here, girl. How you doing?
Hey, hey,
How you
hey.
doing, beautiful?
I'm doing good. Miss Sonia, I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Yes, yes, yes. We all are so amazing. God hand selected all of us to do this job, to do this ministry. It's a ministry.
Absolutely. I agree. And sometimes, it gets hard. I'm like, Lord, you sure you picked the right person? But he said yes. So here I am.
Yes, don't worry. When Miss Quarterbum get up here, she go put the cream, the ice cream on the cake and everything, honey. Yes, Lord.
Absolutely.
Yes, Lord. So let's talk about your young man. We got another young man we're going to talk about. Rashida's got a girl, you got a boy. Michelle's coming up next. She's got a boy. But so let's talk about it. If you had to today tell us about one of your one of the memorable moments, one of those days when you just had a phenomenal day with your little man. Tell us his name, tell us how old he is, and one of those memorable moments, one of those days he just blew it all. You just was in tears. He just had you so overjoyed.
Oh, yes. So my little man is Mason. Mason is 7 years old.
Uh
He
huh.
was diagnosed with autism shortly after we arrived here in South Carolina. So that would have been 2019. He was 2 years old. So um initially I didn't want to accept it, but once we just kind of accepted it and was like, okay, hey, this is what we have to do, we just went from there. Mason has grown in so many different ways. I would say the latest moment that I've had with him where I was just in awe is when he called me into the playroom and he was like, come on, mom, you got to hear this. And he just began to play the keyboard and he was playing a Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And I had never taught him how to play the keyboard. We had never gone over it or anything. So it just warmed my heart that my kid, our kids, they're just so awesome and there's so many things that they can do. And I think sometimes we don't even know all the things that they can do and accomplish. And he just amazes me every day with the new things that he's learning and also teaching us.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And that's one thing about them. They're very musical inclined. They're very artistic. They can draw. Joseph can just take something and sit down, and I mean he can draw it from scratch. He can just look at it and just draw it. So that's something that is very, very unique about them. They're very, very unique and very gifted and talented. And sometimes you don't even have to show it to them. They could just take it and look at it for a second and just be able to do it off the top of their head without
Yeah,
without even looking at it but one time. Um
that's true.
when you look at him from now, and this is one thing that you said that's so vitally important. Sometimes we're in denial when we get the diagnosis. When you first got the diagnosis and you was in denial, what kind of clicked to make you think that you needed to that kind of got you to a place of acceptance and really wanted to move forward, to really at that moment try to see, okay, well, what is it I need to do now to begin this journey to really getting him the assistance and the help that he needs? Because a lot of moms struggle with that. I know that I did. I got it. I was depressed for a season. I
Yeah,
just
absolutely. I understand that. Absolutely. So I don't think it was so much the getting the help part because I got him the help. So immediately
Mhm.
once he was diagnosed, which happened fairly quickly, all thanks be to God that it happened so quickly that we were able to get him in. So Mason also has a heart condition. So he was born with only half a heart. So that just makes it a little bit more complex when it comes to raising him and things like that. But we got him the help that he needed. But for me, I think my issue was I was scared to take him anywhere. So I didn't want to take him out, or I didn't want him going to daycare or church or anything. Like I would literally keep him in the house, not only because of his heart condition, but because he was autistic and I was scared to bring him out into the world. I wasn't sure how he would respond or how others would respond to him. And I just want to give you a shout out because whether or not you realize it, you were one of the first people who kind of pushed me and helped me get out there. You're like, girl, I don't care how loud he is. Go take him to the grocery store. Take him. Don't be afraid. So I just want to thank you so much for giving me that encouragement. And I could receive it from you because you knew it, you lived it, rather than someone else who can empathize but not really understand, saying, oh, well, it's okay, just take them. They don't really understand what it feels like, when you get those looks or, just being afraid to get him out there and expose him to different things, wanting to protect him. But in essence, getting him out there in the world, that's what he needs, not shielding. We want to protect them, but um, we don't want to be so overbearing that they're not able to learn and grow and get those experiences that are going to help them as they age. So, it's been a journey, but I am so glad that God has been with me. He has blessed me with people like you in my life that are pushing me forward. And it's just been up from here.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you said that because They still call my sister still call me helicopter mom, and I'd be like, girl, I don't care what you call me. You can call me helicopter mom all you want, but you need to just let Joseph do whatever. You always say helicopter mom. I said, girl, I don't care what you call me. Because I'd be like, he in high school now, but I ask him
Yeah.
questions. Well, Joseph, da 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 da. Well, Joseph, this and that.
Yeah.
But but I must say, when I saw you bring him out the house, and y'all, when you called me and told me that you took him to the movies, and how we got the situation started at the movies, when you said, you had to leave, but you tried, and girl, when you called me that day, I was crying when you said you took him out. I was like, I am so proud of you. I was so proud of you, girl. I was like,
Thank
because
you.
because that's the only way that he's going to be able to enjoy himself, and it's not fair to him to be inside. Yeah, we're going to get the looks. Yeah, people going to do stuff, but he needs to be able to enjoy life just like everybody else. And guess what? Some of them will still look, some of them will still make comments, but guess what? They're
Right.
going to be all right. If you don't want to
Right.
sit by us because he's making noise or screaming, go over there. There's more seats in the restaurant. Go over there. But
That part.
girl, when you said y'all went out, I was like, yes. My husband's like, what are you crying for? I said, she took him
Yes.
out.
Yes, yes. And
Yeah,
let's talk about that. Let's talk about that a little bit more with
yeah,
the whole movie situation,
yes,
because
Lord.
that birthed a whole another door to be open for our children.
Yeah,
After I called you and let you know, hey, I went to the movies, it didn't work out. I really want to be able to take him to the movies. I want him to have that experience. Why don't you call? I need everybody to call the movie theater, the Azalea Square Regal, and just say, hey, we need a movie for our children who are autistic so they can have the freedom to watch it and not have any limitations or not have to worry about bothering or disturbing anyone else. And so when I told you that, you were like, no, I'm not going to call. I'm going up there. And the rest is history. And since what, June 22nd,
mm-hmm,
was it last year of 2024? I
mm-hmm.
think, yeah. Um, birthed the My Way matinee at the Regal in Somerville, and it's been going strong ever since. And I'm just so grateful for you. I'm grateful for the opportunity to open the door for our children and even adults who may have autism or other things that they feel like they can't be a part of just the normal community, or they feel like they're not accepted. So I'm just really excited. I'm glad. I hope that it continues. Summer is coming up. So we're going to continue to promote that and just keep going.
Yeah. We gotta advocate for not only just our kids but for everybody's kids, because our families need to be able to go out and enjoy places, because we're taxpayers just like everybody else, and our kids need to be able to go out and enjoy things. Even our adult children, you know they
Yeah,
they they need to be able to have places as well. When you
absolutely.
think about Mason, what is some of the major accomplishments that you've seen him accomplish since his diagnosis?
So for Mason, it took a while before he would talk. And then so he started talking maybe around 2.5, 3. And when he talked, you couldn't really understand what he was saying. He was only just kind of making sounds. But now he talks very well. You can understand everything he's saying. He even imitates with his echolalia. He talks like Peppa Pig. He have an English accent sometimes. And so I'm just so proud of him that he is able to talk now. He has taught himself by watching the tablet, I'm assuming. He has taught himself at least 9 different languages that he can
Wow.
speak. In that, oh, hold on,
11.
Madison.
He
Hold
said
on, baby.
11.
Yeah,
He said
that's
11.
my daughter. I'm on a
Oh,
live
okay.
stream right now, sweetheart. I love you. Hold on. Okay. All right. Love you. All right. So, oh goodness. So So just him speaking, him being able to, and this may seem like a small feat to some, but being potty trained, that didn't happen until maybe what, 5 years old. So
Uh-huh.
that was a really big thing for us. I'm glad that I
Mhm.
don't have to make him wear pull-ups throughout the night. So those
Mhm.
are some of the big accomplishments that I have seen that I can be proud of, and just he's grown so much, and I'm just so proud of him.
Mhm. Well, that is absolutely amazing, and I think that's one of the biggest hurdles. I can't even remember. I think Joseph was around about 5 or 6 too. I just had to make him. I said, Joseph, we got to do something else. There's no pull ups you can wear, boy. Them big old thighs, you got to do something. We can't find
Right.
no pull up for you.
Right.
And
Now,
his
and I don't
thighs
know
is
if
so
I can,
big. Yeah.
and I don't know if I can share this or this is TMI, but um he's a little boy, but he still sits. He still
Uh-huh.
sits to go to the bathroom. And I tried to
Uh-huh.
get him to go the normal way, but he's
Uh-huh.
just not having it. So I said, Lord, I'll pick my battles. We'll try again as he gets older. But if that works for him, then
Long as he ain't wetting his pants, leave him alone. Joseph had that sippy cup till he was 8, and when he finished with the sippy cup, he won't even drink milk. He won't drink it. He said, "We can't have the sippy cup. He don't want it." I said, "Oh
yeah.
God."
Same.
Yeah,
Mason
you
has
got to
his
pick your
sippy cup.
battles.
He have
Yeah,
his now.
yeah, you got to pick your battles, honey. You got to pick your battles. Um, Let me see. Um, what's one of the most challenging things that you've had to deal with on your journey? Just as a mother, when you think about your wholeness as a whole woman in progress, what is one of the most challenging things that you've had to deal with in reference to your son, the diagnosis? What's one of the most challenging things that you've had to deal with?
I would say just trying to build that community.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Feeling alone and feeling like you don't really necessarily have that support. Like if I wanted someone to babysit him or watch him. So I'm here in South Carolina, but this is not where I'm from. I'm from Louisiana. So I don't really have family here. And I don't really trust people. I don't trust too many people around my child because he is special needs. Um there has to be a special person to be able to have the patience and the care that I have for my child. So
Mm-hmm.
I would say that would be the biggest thing, like not being able to participate in certain things because either I can't take him
Mm-hmm.
or because I have no one to watch him. So therefore I can't go certain places, not being able to go places where there are big crowds and things that may cause him to be overstimulated. So I would say it can be kind of lonely. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that would be my biggest thing. So I'm working even now to try and build that community. They don't really have any after school care programs for that I have seen, for after
They don't.
school care for special needs children, or even the camps and things like that. If you do find a camp that caters to our children, it's an arm, a leg, and a foot. It costs a lot of money. And so just navigating those different things, wanting him to be a part of things, wanting him to be able to go to camp, and wanting to have an after school care program that he can participate in to kind of relieve some of the stress from me, or just be able to have those moments to myself and to be able to refresh. So I would say that's been one of the most challenging things, along with just navigating the school system.
That's something that's been there in this little head here over 20 years. That's
I
whew,
know. I
yes.
know.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
I will share this. Recently, and you may already know this, recently Berkeley County has approved to have ABA come into the schools. And so I think it's been for about 4 months. It's still developing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's considered medical ABA.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just been navigating that. So we'll see how that goes. I put a sentence in his IEP, which is required for them to start the process.
Mm-hmm.
And we will see for next year how that goes. So we're still trying to navigate that. And I'm excited.
Mm-hmm. I'm just wondering how would they provide that, just like Rashida was saying earlier before she had to leave, is that most of the services that they provide at the schools are usually in group settings. It's not individualized. That's the
So
only
with
thing. But
this,
even with that, even long as they're providing it, I guess that
right.
would be
So, from my understanding, it would be from you choose your provider. So, like, let's
mm-hmm,
say Mason already does ABA. So, we would
mm-hmm.
have either his RBT or BCBA to come into the school with him.
Okay.
Yeah. So, it wouldn't necessarily be provided by the district. It's basically allowing you to pick your provider or company to come in and support your child in the school. And it's considered medical ABA. You have to get a prescription either from like the PCM or behavioral specialist, whoever, that basically just says, hey, this child needs, this is a prescription for the child to have medical ABA.
Okay.
So there's several steps. So I have some information which I can definitely share.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
And it's covered through insurance.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Does he do any type of recreational activities outside of the home, like
No.
Miracle Lead or anything?
No, so I haven't even heard of that. And so no, he doesn't really do any recreation. Now, because of his heart condition, he doesn't have as much stamina.
Okay.
But no. Mm-mm.
Okay. Okay. Alrighty. Anything you want to share that you might not have shared? You want to tell the group? Tell the audience that is watching us internationally.
Well, no, this is fairly new to me. This is my first time on a forum such as this. So I'm just here and just taking it all in, and just want to be a resource to help anyone, to encourage them, and just join hands together, like to build that community. That's what I'm working on right now. And so if I can be of help to anyone, whether it's just saying a prayer or whatever the case may be, just be a listening ear. Um, that's what I want to be. Oh, hey,
Well,
so there is one thing. Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Sonia. There is one thing.
okay.
So, which I'm gonna need your help with. So hopefully in September, we're gonna be doing a event. Autism Saves the Day
Uh
at
huh.
Central Creek Park. I don't have all the details yet, but it will be bringing in the police department, Goose Creek Police, Goose Creek Fire Department, and maybe even some vendors to come in and just mingle with the children. I think it's good for them to have training, but it's even more so for them to actually be there and be involved with our children and see their mannerisms and different things like that. And also for our children to feel safe around them. So if they are ever in need or need some help, they will recognize the first responders as someone who will help them.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. So guess what? We are getting ready to. We got one other mom that I wanted to get in, but I'm going to let her go towards the end because her story is really unique. All of the stories are really unique, really, really, really unique. But I'm going to let these two moms go because they're going to really hit us real heavy because their children are adults.
Oh,
These two moms that are coming up, their
yeah.
children are grown men. This is
Well,
it's
I am excited for that.
Yes, they are. I didn't even realize Michelle's son was the. I think her son is the oldest. Um, and Tamika's son is 20, and Michelle's son I think is 23. But this is really good. Oh God, they're gonna give us a real hope, some extra
Well,
hope.
thank you. Yes, thank you
Yes,
for
but
doing this, Sonia.
only God, only God. I'm telling you, I done had so much warfare. I just had to start punching him, and I had to do some kickboxing. I was like, you better
Well,
back up. You better back up off me, Satan. But let me
oh yeah.
bring Michelle up, and then I'm gonna do Tamika, and then I'm gonna get the young lady out of Colombia because the enemy is fighting. But if you can go in the chat and try to send her the link, Miranda, I would really appreciate it. Um, it's Miss Badger, and she's out of Colombia. Or see if the chat will let you call her and see if you can send it to her that way. She's in the group chat that I created. See if
Got
it'll
it.
let you send it to her directly because I really want to get her on because her daughter is an amputee. So
Okay.
we really need to hear them, and I don't want the enemy to try to steal that. So
Okay.
if you could reach out to her, I would appreciate it.
So let
Yeah,
me see. Because I used the link that was already in the chat.
yes, try to push that to her again and just call
Okay.
her and let her know that it's in Messenger. Because we just at an hour, so we good on time. But
Okay. And what's
I'm
her
gonna get
name again?
um Miss Badger.
All right, will do. Give me just a few moments to work on that. Thank you again, Miss Sonia. I love you.
Thank you for assisting me, my co-pilot. I appreciate you. Thank you, babe. All righty, Michelle. I'm getting ready to find your bio real quick. And then I'm gonna bring you up in just a second, sweetheart. I think you sent it to me in this thread. Yes, you did. Our next mom that's coming front and center is Miss Michelle Barnes. She's a native of Somerville, South Carolina. She's a mother of 5. Her son Hunter was diagnosed with autism at the age of 8. He is now 23 years old. He has a sister, Emily, and a sister, I think it's Megan. I think it's Megan. And he keeps life busy and fun. Hunter attends basic, beyond basic 3 days a week. He plays baseball with the Somerville Miracle League, and we are grateful for the programs available, but recognize that there is a real need for more opportunities for adults with disabilities. Amen. I totally agree with that because I've worked with special needs adults and children over 20 years. So, Michelle, I totally agree with you on that. I'm going to bring Miss Michelle front and center, and we're going to have this candid conversation. How are you, gorgeous? How you doing? I can't hear you. You got your microphone muted. Still can't hear you. Hold on a second. You might be still got it muted. It's saying you unmuted. Check the volume on your computer. See if your computer or your tablet volume is down. It's unmuted on this side, but I still can't hear you.
Okay. What about now?
All right, there you go. Yeah, there you go. That's it. How
Okay.
you
Yes.
doing, young lady? Hey, you
Good.
doing
Good.
gorgeous?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm doing good.
Yes,
Thank you for having me today.
yes, ma'am. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. So your son Hunter is the oldest, and I
Yes.
totally agree. We need to have more things for them to do when they become adults. I got
Yes.
about 5 years for Joe to be an adult.
Yeah. It's definitely a different world.
Yes, 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 yes. And you don't want to just institutionalize them if they're adults and can function. Yes, but they need to have more resources. I totally agree. I
Yes.
totally agree with you. Yes, ma'am. But on this afternoon, what has been I know he's 25. I mean 20
23.
23. So what has been some of the major moments? Can you give us one major moment that you and your husband have really just been grateful for that he's accomplished?
Well, one thing I was kind of glad that he did. I mean, he did not get a high school diploma, but he did get a certificate, and he was able
Uh-huh.
to walk across the stage.
Uh-huh.
So I was glad to see him do that. I mean, obviously
That.
that was a couple of years ago.
Uh-huh.
Um, and going back to the potty training thing that you and Miranda were talking about,
Uh-huh.
I mean, Hunter was almost 9. I
Uh-huh.
mean, I was to a point where we did not think he was going to be potty trained.
Uh-huh.
And I am so grateful that he is. Because that's
Okay.
just a whole other world when you're incontinent. I mean,
Yes.
um, so yeah, that's one thing that I am so super grateful for. And I am grateful for Beyond Basic. That's where he goes a few days a week.
Okay. And is that still out in Oak Brook, Michelle? I think that's the last place I saw where it was out in the
No,
Oak Brook area. They
it's
moved it from
over.
there?
It's in downtown Somerville.
Okay. All right. Well, they done moved it then because the last time I saw it was at Oak Brook. When I was working to the Coastal Center, it was out at Oak Brook. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow. Do they still have the simulated workout there where they still get paid to do that, or they just is it something totally different?
No, no, this is what you might be thinking of is at DDSN,
Uh-huh.
where I think they do there. And
Uh-huh.
honestly, I've never inquired about that. At Beyond Basic, it's a place where, caregivers pay to send their
Uh-huh.
not child, but and they do different things out in the community. They volunteer, they
Uh-huh.
make pottery, and they do that to help fund the facility because even though we pay for
Uh-huh.
them to go, the cost to facilitate that business is a lot more than what we pay. If
Okay.
that makes any sense for the
Okay.
employees and the building and the
The
everything that they
upkeep of
have
the
to do.
building. Okay.
Um, and they hire college graduates. So the people that are working with your individual, they are not going to be quitting next week. You know what I mean? So they really have a
Uh-huh.
high level of care in that sense.
Okay.
They work on cooking and everyday skills, money, going to the grocery store, picking out ingredients, bringing it back, cooking it.
Okay. All righty. Well, I definitely need to kind of do some research with them because I know Joseph only got 2 more years in high school, but we're looking at doing a program at Clemson, so
Oh,
I
yeah.
need to kind of check on that too as well,
Yeah, that'd
and
be
kind of
great.
see what they offer. Yeah, but let me ask you this: when he did prior to him getting into high school, how was his years at elementary and middle? Did you have a lot of behavior? Did you have to do a lot of advocating for him in middle school and elementary school? Did he have a lot of behavior?
He really didn't.
Okay.
Honestly, we have more behavior things now than we did then.
Uh-huh.
And I think that's because he likes the routine.
Okay.
And just going to school and doing the same thing every day was
Uh-huh.
just fine. He would do that. I wish he was still doing that. I wish
Uh-huh.
they could just continue on school. But I
Uh-huh.
really did not have a lot. The only thing I remember really advocating for was when he was in elementary school, there was a student that would get violent with
Uh-huh.
some of the other students and teachers. So we had to
Uh-huh.
go and kind of nip that in the bud, and they end up having to transfer that child somewhere else.
Uh-huh.
Um, but really for him, he would just go with the flow, and now's a different story.
Uh-huh. So when the routine get changed now is where it causes a disruption or a behavior or something of that magnitude when things are not consistently now. Like if
Yes.
the van picks him up if the van is late, or do y'all have to drop him off? How does that work?
Yes, we have to provide transportation, and this is a private pay place, so they do not accept respite or the waiver. So it's
Wow.
very different from, if I don't know if you've heard of Club Horizon or Graceful Embrace. Those are two programs that they do
Yes.
provide transportation, and it is a state-funded place.
Uh-huh.
I've toured those facilities before, and they just are not a good fit for Hunter.
Uh-huh.
Um, I do plan to revisit them because I do know that over years things change.
Uh-huh.
Um, so I do plan to go back and revisit them just to see.
Yeah, I know the gracefully
Graceful
is like,
Embrace.
yeah, that one is like older, and I know the Club Horizon, they're more older, more more dependent staff people there. They kind of like older and more wheelchair bound individuals. There are not a lot of walkers there.
Well, last time I went, they had individuals that were profoundly disabled with
Uh-huh.
very verbal, high functioning
Uh-huh.
individuals. This was a
Yes.
couple of years ago, and in my opinion, that was just weird. I mean,
Yeah.
and Hunter just kind of falls in the middle there. He's not
Yeah.
verbal, but he's ambulatory and knows what's going on. Um,
Yeah.
so,
They got a
uh,
mixture of people there. Yes, they sure do.
so it's just trying to find the right fit. And right now, like I said, 3 days a week he goes to be on basic. 2 days a week we have a caregiver come to the house.
Hmm.
Um, and so it's just it would be much better if the bus picked him up and took him to school every day,
Hmm.
brought him home. I really miss school, and
Hmm.
he really does as well.
Does he have, let me ask you this. Do you see a struggle with him having friends as an adult?
Yeah, he does not have friends. Um, he just doesn't. He just has no desire, unfortunately, for friendship. And we'll go
Hmm.
out and we'll see people that know him, and we'll speak to him, and he might acknowledge them a little bit, but he's very much closed off into his own world.
Hmm.
I wish that was different.
Yeah, I find that with Joseph a lot too. He says he wants friends, but a lot of times he'll talk to them, but a lot of times he's so used to being by himself, he doesn't, you know, at the end of the
Yeah,
school year he'll cry, but it's like he's used to being by himself.
yeah.
So Michelle, as a mom, what are some of the um as a whole woman in progress, what is some of the things that you have to do as a wife and a mom and a business owner? What are some of the things that you have to do daily just to keep yourself grounded and rooted to be able to manage your home?
Well, I wish I could say I had some healthier habits. I'm trying to get back into some physical exercise. I used to be really good at that,
Hmm.
as a stress reliever. Um, I'm trying to slowly get back into that, but I guess just spending time with girlfriends too.
Hmm.
Having occasional date nights, as you know, sometimes that's a little bit more challenging, but I do have some really strong girlfriends as well
Hmm.
that just to kind of just be, instead of being a wife and a mom, just being a friend.
Hmm.
Um, I think that's important as well.
Hmm. Do you have let me see, how do I say this? Do you find yourself isolated sometimes as a special needs mom?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, I do. I do have some friends with, that, obviously you and I are friends, but I mean, I do
Mm-hmm.
have some friends that, also have children that are disabled. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it can be very isolating because a lot of people just don't know the day to day of, um, the stresses are just different from
Mm-hmm.
typical children, and adults. I mean, most, most 23-year-olds are graduating college or working. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just not the case for Hunter. That's not going to be the
Mm-hmm.
case for Hunter. Um, so my goal is just to find something for him to do during the day that's productive and that he
Mm-hmm.
enjoys.
Yeah. I now that you're talking, I I say I want to see him go into this program, and I know he probably can, and I think he would do well. But a part of me is like, I don't want him to go. It's like
Oh
that
yeah.
helicopter. It's like that helicopter just coming out, and I'm be like, nah, 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 nah. I even told
Yes.
my husband, I said we moving to Columbia because I got to be within 10 minutes of him. My husband, he was like 10 minutes of him. I said we got to be 10 minutes within that campus. You know, I was like, we need to start looking now. My sister was like, "You serious?" I was like, "Yes, I am serious. I am serious." But I I don't know. I think it's so important that as women, it's so important that we nurture and take care of ourselves because it's so.
Yes.
I I feel like as whole women in progress, and as moms of special needs children, we have so many hats that we wear. Our
Mhm.
businesses, our marriages, if we're single moms, if we taking care of aging parents, it's just so much that we do. We have to take care of ourselves. And the physical exercise for me is where I is like a stress reliever for me. Just being
Yeah.
able to get in Planet Fitness or go to the Y and run up and down that pool, it's like when I'm running, people be looking at me. It's like she ain't doing no exercise. She just running from one side of the pool to the other side. But people don't realize it's like a stress reliever for me to
Yeah.
be able to do that, even if I can't do it but 3 times because of all of the stuff that I go through in my house. So I mean, um, I commend you and Miss Quarterbomb for what y'all do because I mean y'all are way down the road. Just stuff that y'all are sharing with us now is where we gotta go. With Quan and Hunter, it's like the level of parenting increases when they get older. I'm thinking that we'll be able to back off a little bit, but it's like it's still they still need us because it's like they may not be able to do certain things and they still need that. You're not really hands on, but they still need your assistance. So
Yes.
when you so when he starts cooking, can he prepare a meal by himself or do you have
No.
to be in the kitchen with him?
Oh yeah. He does a lot more there than he does here.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't do anything really independent in the kitchen at all. It's just
Mm-hmm.
like maybe lay a slice of cheese on the bread,
Mm-hmm.
because he has very poor fine motor skills.
Uh-huh.
Um, so it's hard for him to also to judge distance, depth
Mm-hmm.
perception, and things like that are difficult. So he's mainly
Mm-hmm.
helping, maybe stirring, things like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he's just not very independent.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm really hoping that by the time your boys are adults, we have more things in place.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's my goal. Is just trying to make more connections with people that have the knowledge and the know-how and money
Mm-hmm.
to get some better places for them, more things, more programs for them to do.
And you know what? I think it's going to take us getting on some of these boards because some of these people that are on these boards are not us.
Yeah,
It's these people that don't have no kids that are not they're disappointed. They are appointed to be on these boards
yeah,
but they're not parents, so they don't know what's required. So they just talking, they talking, but they don't know what's required to help the child really do what needs to be done. And if they're just there, just like some things that are going on in the local disability boards. But if you're not a parent, how can you be on a board to really help the families if you don't have no idea what we're dealing with?
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely, and for me, it's honestly been more of a challenge having him age out of school.
Hmm. And the
Um,
resources are very limited. I
yes,
I think when they age out, the resources are even more limited.
yes, and there are some places that will employ disabled adults, to do different things. I've heard even the library will, but it's just not at that level where he could do
Hmm.
something like that.
Yeah, but it should be something at every level, though. That's the
Yes,
thing, Michelle. It should be something at every level. But then you got to deal with people that are not so. Um, some people that go and work in these environments to take advantage of our children. So you got to be cautious of those
yeah,
individuals.
yes,
Predators. That's what I want to call
yeah,
them.
yeah. And my son is nonverbal, so if anything like that were to happen,
He
he
can't.
might start acting out, but he can never verbalize that.
Wow. I didn't know he was nonverbal.
Yeah.
I've seen him at Somerville Miracle Lead, but I didn't know that he was completely nonverbal. So he couldn't even write it on
No.
like a board or anything.
Mm-mm.
Wow. So see, that would make it even more challenging for me. I would have up two helicopters. Yeah, because I think, because that puts up more red flags. Because um I saw another mom that was blogging on TikTok, and her daughter was nonverbal, but the little girl wouldn't go into school, and come to find out they was doing something to her at the school.
Mm, that's
But I
awful.
think it's going to end up being cameras put in these classrooms, because with these children that are nonverbal, you don't know what's going on with them. And if they can't tell you, but all of a sudden she loves school and now she don't want to go into class. I mean, she was literally having a meltdown in the car because she didn't
Mm.
want her mom to take her out the car.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I
Yeah, that
had
is hard.
Joseph doing that one year too. And I think he was about 3 or 4. And I just took him out of the center because he would want to get out and go into this house. And then all of a sudden he just started screaming and hollering when I took
Mm.
him there. And I told my husband, I don't know what it is, but something's going on and he can't tell me. So I'm not taking him back.
Yeah, that was probably the right decision.
Yeah.
You got to choose, take your gut instinct, listen to your gut.
Yeah. So Michelle, if you had to say or think of one incident where um you went somewhere and you and your family wasn't treated well based on the situation with Hunter, when was that, and how did y'all handle that? Whether it was at church, whether it was at a restaurant, you know.
Um, I've not had experience with the staff. We have not been anywhere where a staff member has ever said anything about behavior, because usually he just hasn't had a ton of behavior issues. We're seeing that
Hmm.
more so now, as we just have the schedule is always different. But
Hmm.
more so is just, like looks from other people, or
Hmm.
one time he just would not be quiet in church. I mean, nobody said anything to me, but I took him out because you know, he was being disruptive. And I
Hmm.
know I couldn't concentrate on church, and I didn't want to disrupt um, other people's, I didn't want to
Hmm.
upset their worship either.
Hmm.
So really, I've not really experienced that.
Hmm.
Um, thankfully, I
Hmm.
know a lot of people have, and I know that's got to be very frustrating.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, we've been fortunate not to really have a lot of that.
But nobody said anything to you, so that's a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, maybe some looks, but no one's ever said, you need to take him out. No, I've not had that before.
Wow. Well, that's good. We done had that, but it was okay. We handled it.
Well,
Can
and
you
you know
see
what?
can you see my face?
It's kind of like stuck.
Okay. Alrighty.
Can you see me?
No, ma'am. I can't.
Oh, no.
No, you good. I was trying to see if I could send that invite the other young lady on, but I don't see her. Yeah,
Um,
but
I had one more thing I was going to say, and I just lost it.
we doing good on time though. We doing good on time.
Okay. I
You
cannot tell.
remembered it? Pull it back
Um,
up. Pull it back up. Come on back. Come on back.
um, yeah, just, my goodness, what were we talking about? We're talking about
You said you had an episode where you took him out of
church.
church because he was making noise in the church.
Yeah. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I think one advantage, I don't know how to say this politically correct, so please don't.
It's okay. Just say it. It's okay.
Uh,
We're international. We all the way over in somewhere today, so it's okay.
well, I think because Hunter has other disabilities other than autism, by his facial features, you can look at him and you can tell that that he has a disability. And I think because of that, we get more grace than someone whose kid that looks like a regular kid, a typical child. People might just think they're being bad. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I really think that's why we've been given more grace. I don't know. That may or may not be true, but that's kind of my thought.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people look at Joseph and just think he being bad, but it's yeah. Or he just making a bunch of noise. He's just loud.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very frustrating.
Yeah. Why we can't make him be quiet?
Yeah, I know. I was with a girlfriend one time, and her son was just like, he would make these like singing chants, and we were in the mall, and someone was kind of looking at us, and she was like, I can't make him stop. I wish he would stop. He won't stop. This is just him. It's just the way it is. I mean, it wasn't super loud, but it was just, it's just like a sing song. He kept repeating something in a movie,
like a cartoon or something.
Yeah.
And they will mimic stuff. So I mean, there's nothing you can do about that.
Nope. Nope.
Nothing you can do about that. They just mimicking the cartoon.
Yeah.
Yes. If it was one thing that you could tell a mom right now that just got the diagnosis, that you done come through all of this stuff with your son, and she just found out Friday, and the day is she found out last Friday, so now she's like a weekend. If there's anything that you could tell her that would encourage her,
I would say do your research, because the doctors, they just don't know about a lot of the services, or that was at least when Hunter was diagnosed. And I've heard others say that that's still the case for a lot of situations. I would just say do as much research and try to connect to another mom that's further along down the road, because that's going to be your biggest resource. That would be my advice. And just to take care of herself, like you said, like trying to keep yourself grounded, and you can't take care of other people if you can't take care of yourself.
Yeah, that's most definitely so, because we take care of everybody else, and then we don't take care of ourselves like we should, and we can't take care of everybody else and don't take care of us. So I had to learn that the hard way.
Yeah, I think we all did. Sometimes I still have to remind myself.
Yep, exactly. Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Yep. You got any final notes? Anything else you want to share with us?
I hope I haven't been too discouraging.
No, no, you have not. You telling us your story. Everybody's
Yes.
story is different. Everybody's
Yes.
story is different. You have not been discouraging at all. You told us what you've encountered with your son, and
Yeah.
everybody's journey is different. And
Yeah.
we have got to do something different, especially with the Department of Disability and Special Needs. It needs to be some changes from the top
Yeah.
on down, starting
Absolutely.
with Governor Henry McMaster and on down. We just go make it plain. We need some parents on the boards. That's what we need.
Yeah.
We just
I
go.
don't even know if there are any parents on the disability board.
Nobody. I just talked to a very close and personal person on yesterday.
Oh, and there's not. Wow.
Yeah, it's not. It's
Oh,
not.
goodness.
And the
Well,
people that's on there is 60 and 70 years old, 80
oh,
years old. You know, their child is in an institution. So
yeah,
yeah,
that's very
so
different than where we are
yeah.
today.
We talking about parents that got their kids in their house.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, Sonia, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come on and tell my story. I've unfortunately
yes.
got to hop off here, but yeah, I really appreciate the time and the opportunity.
You welcome and thank you for coming on. And we're gonna plan us a little get together so we can
Yes.
meet everybody can meet everybody's kids, and we're gonna continue to support each other and and do some babysitting or something. We're gonna do some chat
Yeah,
or
I would
something.
love that. Well, thank you for all your hard work on this. This is
Yes,
awesome.
yes, y'all keep me in prayer because I tell you, I was determined not to let this go. I was up till 2 o'clock last night trying to get some stuff in place, but God is
Oh,
good.
goodness.
Yes, God is
Well,
good. Yes,
yes, absolutely. Well, thank you again so much for doing this. And yeah, we'll
yes,
definitely be in touch soon.
yes. All righty. Thank you, Michelle.
Okay.
Love
Thank
you.
you too. Love you too. Bye.
All right. Bye bye. All righty. I got to find my lady from Columbia. Lord have mercy. This hair is a hot mess. All righty, Miss Quarterbomb. Miss Quarterbomb, you next. I'm gonna have to get this young lady here. I'm gonna have to get off and get her back on. But anyway, let me get your bio, Miss Tamika Quarterbomb. You are next, my love. Let me find your bio. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, 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 okay. Excuse me, sir. I'm still on. I got two more guests. I'm almost done. All righty, we got Miss Tamika Quarterbomb, all the way a native of Ridgeville, South Carolina. Stop. She is a mother of 4 and a grandmother of 3. She's earned her bachelor's degree in business management, and she's employed at United Healthcare for 19 years. I need to talk to you. Enjoy spending time with her family, and she is growing her t-shirt business. She has one son that has been diagnosed with autism, and when he was diagnosed with autism when he was 6 years old, and he is now 20 years old. Come on, front and center, my love. How are you, beautiful? I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Unmute your mic. You got your microphone muted. Hold on. Oh, God. Come back. That was in there when you wash it? Take it out before you wash it. Yeah. Come on back, Mika. All right. There you go. It's unmuted now on my end. I can hear you now. Come on. I can hear you now.
Great.
All right. You ready to go?
Yes. Thank you.
I can hear you now.
Awesome.
How you doing, beautiful?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good, sweetheart. I'm doing well.
Good.
All righty. Okay, dokie.
I was going to start by saying, listen, I've sat here and listened to everybody, and I can relate somehow or another to each person that spoke.
Uh-huh.
And oh my gosh, although Quan is now 20 years old, it brought me back to a lot of places that we have been.
Yes,
But
Lord.
God
Yes,
is
Lord.
good.
Yes, he done brought us through, honey.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has. And I'm beyond ecstatic.
Yes, Lord. He is
But
good. He is
every
good.
day is still a journey, and we're still on it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yeah.
we are. All
Yeah.
righty. So let's start. When was Quan diagnosed, and what did you do when you heard the news? What was your response?
Okay. The sad part is my story was a little similar to Rashida's.
Uh-huh.
So every time I would take Quan to the doctor, because at the age of 4, he still he wasn't talking. He
Uh-huh.
didn't have 10 words.
Uh-huh.
Uh, every time I take him to the doctor, what they used to tell me was, oh, he's a boy. Boys are delayed. Just give him
Mm-hmm.
time.
Mm-hmm.
I heard that till he was about 5. Now he's in the school. Now
Mm-hmm.
I'm working close with his teachers because he's having outbursts and breakdowns and
Mm-hmm.
moments at school
Mm-hmm.
where the teacher came to me and said, I want to have him assessed. Is it
Mm-hmm.
okay? And I had to sign forms for the doctor to come into the school just to monitor his day to day. But
Uh-huh.
at that point, they never told me he could possibly be autistic. They said,
Uh-huh.
well, we're going to send him down to MUSC for further testing.
Uh-huh.
So maybe about 2 months went by, finally got
Uh-huh.
in for an appointment for Quan. And when they came back with, after all the tests that they've done, because we were down there for like about 6 hours. They were just
Wow.
doing little games with him. We had lunch and came back and did some more
That's
little things
exactly
with
what
him.
they do, honey. That's exactly
Yeah.
what they do. All day
Again,
long.
so I just want you to know, at this point, no one ever said the word autistic
Uh-huh.
or autism or
Mm-hmm.
on the
Spectrum.
on the spectrum.
Uh-huh.
And at that time, I had no clue
Flu.
as
Uh-huh.
well. So when they finally came back and set me in a room,
Mm-hmm.
it was me and my oldest daughter at the time, because they were still playing with him in another room.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, Miss Quarterbum, I just want to let you know that after reviewing all of the tests,
Mm-hmm.
that Taquan is on the spectrum. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, well, what is the spectrum?
Spectrum.
Because I had no idea.
Idea what they were talking about.
I just knew that he wasn't comprehending. He wasn't really speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And that was an issue for me
Mm-hmm.
because I was very stern with my kids.
Mm-hmm.
I had two older daughters at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and I would expect him to do little things, whether it's pick up his toys, and never would understand why he would just have a moment. Like
Uh-huh.
what was happening, what was so dramatic, or what happened that we're at this point.
Why
And
are
so
you
when they
crying?
right crying, I mean, like tears were really flowing. You would have thought that somebody harmed him.
Uh-huh.
That's how extra he was. So I said, you know what? When she told me what it is, they gave me little booklets. I
Uh-huh.
came home and did my own research.
Uh-huh.
I said, because I need to know how to help him. Because one thing that I did, and I'm thankful that I continued up until
Uh-huh.
this day, is I never treated him any different than I
Different.
treated my other children. And I expected him to still do his chores. He just had a little more time than the other children.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing I did, I'm so thankful that I've done that to this point, because I am so happy to say Quan is 20. He holds a job, a full-time job. He just bought his first car in
Come
uh,
on here, Quan.
February after his 20th birthday. And I want
Uh-huh.
you to know he bought his own car
Uh-huh.
after his 20th birthday.
Oh
And
God.
I am so happy because he is moving forward in life. Now, mind you, this was the child they told me that would have issues, that he'd probably never be able to do things on his own. They told me I would take care of him the rest of my life.
So you need to take him down there for a visit then.
Oh, he chats with them. He chats with them. He does. They've asked him to come and speak at their STAR program at MUSC.
Wow, that is awesome.
Yes. Listen, Quan is.
Don't tell me what God can do, honey.
Come on now. Listen, and just like some of the other parents where they said they didn't, the young lady was saying that she didn't want to take her child out, take them everywhere. I took Quan everywhere, and I'm going to tell you, Miss Sonia, I was one of them parents, and you knew me. I'm going to fight behind my kids. I'm going to make sure my kids are okay. And so when people,
you better treat them right, or you have to deal with me too.
You're going to have to deal with me. Yes, her too. But I never stopped taking him places. And yes, people will look. Let them. That is my saying. Let them. Because guess what?
Look, honey.
It's going to be beneficial to the child, to your child. It was beneficial to my child, just for him to be out in public. And he knows his limits. He tells me now at the age of 20, he said, Mom, when I start feeling as if I don't have control of the issue, he said, if I can't go sit in a quiet area, I know I'm coming straight home. Or he'll call
time for me to leave.
Yep. Or he'll call me and he'll text me and say, hey, and I know if I get that text, I'm stopping everything I'm doing because I'm going
to go and find where he at and get him.
Listen, I have a tracker on him. We got iPhones just so that we all know where he is. But I love it because he is, again, he's 20. He'll go and get in his car and say, well, Mom, I'm going to go XYZ to get something to eat, or go to the game store, or he'll go to my mom's house. So he's out and driving. Yes. So just to all the parents,
that is awesome.
Just be patient. Give yourself grace, because how my mom liked to always tell me, this too shall pass. So when they're having their moments, it'll pass.
Yeah.
Just give it
and
time.
You just got to be patient with them.
That's it. And I'm going to tell you, that was hard for me at first, because again, being new to autism, I knew nothing about it. When he was diagnosed, and again, he was diagnosed late at the age of 6, but I had to do my own research. I was a part of some mom groups, just chatting with other parents that I met at the doctor's office. And sometimes, we exchanging numbers and having play dates just to get the kids out and get them around other children. So yeah, just
how helpful was that? Was that very helpful? Did you meet some really good parents that was very helpful? Because sometimes, I find that sometimes when people find out that their children are different, sometimes they would kind of retreat and isolate. I know for us, we didn't isolate, but I know for me, it was difficult for me to kind of always be so welcoming, unless the child, we was going someplace where I knew it was going to be other people there that he could play with. And the kids were like, kind of had the same diagnosis. Because I know it was certain people that they wouldn't even invite us, after, especially when he was smaller, when he was between like 4 and 8, he had a lot of behavior then. He would do a lot of noise. He would do a lot of rocking. A lot of behaviors where he would just fall. I mean, he would just lay out. And I'd be like, I'm going, Joseph, I'll see you later. And he would just kick and scream. I'll just walk off of him. People be looking at me in the store. I said, Joseph, I'm going to leave you. And he just lay out, because he wanted whatever was going, whatever he wanted. And I was like, hey, we're not doing that today. But, it would be like, for a while, I just, I had to deal with me, because a part of me was not only that you rejected my child, but now you rejected me, because I know you're having the party, but everybody get invited but us. You know what I'm saying? So I had to deal with Sonia.
I understand that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, at the end of the day, you also had to give yourself grace because you're in a different situation. Just like I want to say, Rashida was talking earlier. You're a different person than you were. So at that time, you had to process all that because this was still all new to you. And don't get me wrong, it doesn't matter how long they've had the diagnosis. Each day can be different. Each
Every
hour,
day.
each
Every day
minute.
was different. Every day.
Right. And even like the young lady that just got off, she said her son was Michelle. She was saying her son does great. He was doing great on the schedule when he was in school.
Yeah.
They do great on the schedule because guess what? That's part of the autism. When they know what's going on and know what's coming next, nothing is a surprise. Now that won't stop the meltdowns if they need it, but if they have it. But at the end of the day, he had a schedule. Whereas now she says she's experiencing more issues just because he doesn't have like a schedule.
There.
Right.
So let me ask you this. How important do you feel like your self-care is as a whole woman in progress when it comes to just dealing with Quan, even though he's an adult now, even though, you still have interaction with him? How do you feel like your self-care as a whole woman in progress is important for still dealing with him, your other children, as well as your grands?
It's very important because listen, sometimes not just Quan, but my other children and grandchildren require 100% of me. And I'm already spreading that through everybody else. So if I'm not, my cup is not full and running over, how can I help them? So for me, I just had my first facial. I do something different. I go to massages. I get a massage on a regular. I try to do things that I love, and that's what brought about my t-shirt business because I like little sayings and different things. So I started finding different things that I like and would love to wear. So I found a little hobby in this process too. So it's important to take care of yourself because listen, when you're down, who's going to make sure your child is okay? You know what I mean? Exactly. Don't get me wrong. Even for the women who have husbands, their husbands are there. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure there are main things that you are doing or that your child is expecting you to do. Correct. So you have to take care of yourself.
Exactly.
You have to. That's important. Now, I'm going to tell you, Lord, not every day is a great day, but we make the best of it.
Exactly.
That's right.
So when you think about the word wholeness, what does that mean to you?
Wholeness as an aspect to my son or for me?
For you, personally for you.
You know what? As long as my family is thriving and healthy, that's wholeness for me. Just being able to support others. As you know, I said before, I've worked with United Healthcare for the last 19 years. And in that 19 years, our specialty was mental health. So most of my patients are mental health patients. And that, although I am not a life coach, I have patients that call me that look for me to fill their cups some days. So for me, as long as I'm helping, my family is thriving and healthy, I'm blessed. And that's wholeness for me.
Wow. That's good. That's good. That's good. So, I didn't know that a part of your job was mental health. Do you feel like as African Americans or as individuals as a whole, do you think we do well at maintaining our mental health? Not just that. Let's take the African Americans off the table. Do you feel like as individuals, as people, do you think we do well at maintaining our mental health?
No. And you know why?
Why?
Because we try to be so strong, and especially women. And I'm just going to put this out there because I find this a lot, especially with women with families, and like for us that we have dependents. I feel like we don't take enough time for self because we're always trying to make sure this person is good, that person is good, that the grandbaby over here is taken care of it. We're pulled in so many different directions. And as you said earlier, aging parents, their health. And if they got doctor's appointments, you got doctor's appointment, your husband appointments. It's so much. And sometimes we don't take the time to take care of ourselves. That's why I say,
yeah, man, you preaching, girl. You preaching good.
This has been my life. And I will tell you this. There was a point in time where I didn't take care of myself because I was pulled between 4 children with my mom and added my 3 grandbabies. I was always pulled in a direction. And in my family, I'm one of those ones, they'll call me and say, what do you think? How should we do this? Or what happens with the Medicaid plan or the Medicare plan? I get those questions from my entire family. So I'm that go-to person in my family. So I get it. And there has been times where I had to pull back, cut my phone off, and take time for myself. If that meant going in my closet and praying, if that meant going in the shower and just standing there, sitting there, whatever I was doing, I needed that time. So there was a point where I had to say, nope, it's about Tamika. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what's so important is we have to intentionally take care of ourselves. Yes. Just like we plan to get our nails done, we plan to get our feet done, we plan to get our hair done. We have to make appointments with ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
I have to make an appointment to do Bible study. I have to make an appointment to do whatever it is. I think sometimes, I know for me, I had to make appointments with Sonia because the more I pencil everybody else in, I was penciling myself out.
You were crossing yourself
out. I was on life support. I was literally on life support on fumes. And I said, you know what? I can't keep doing this to myself. Right. I'm penciling myself out the schedule and penciling everybody else in the schedule. No, right. The devil is a liar. I got to take care of myself.
Right.
I had to take care of myself. So that's why I say all the time that and that's a part of this ministry when the Lord gave it to me. It's an inside job. You can no longer mask the pain, can no longer mask, not doing what you need to do for yourself. Because if you're taking care of everybody else and ain't taking care of yourself, how can I really take care of me?
Yeah, others. How can you take care of anybody else if you're not taking care of self?
Exactly. I got to put the oxygen mask on myself first.
Right.
Before the plane go down.
Listen, been there.
Yeah.
So I get it.
What is one of the greatest experiences that you've experienced with your son, Quan? What is one of the greatest experiences? Him walking across the stage when he graduated from high school. What is one of the greatest experiences that you experienced with him? That you want to share with us.
So, Quan graduated from high school last year. Year before last. And of course, that was a great experience. But for him, he did not graduate with a diploma. He graduated with a certificate. So he told me, he said, Mom, I really want to go to college. And I said, okay, well, what are we going to do? What steps are we going to take to get there? So he enrolled into the Dorchester County Continuing Education, where he's on track to get his GED. Now, of course, it's taken him just a little while longer than, I guess, the average person, but it's okay. But it's the fact that he came to me, that is something he wanted to do so that way he can move forward because he really loves coding. And of course, I'm going to stand behind him 2,000%. But I love the fact that he's making decisions for himself. He told me that was something that he wanted to do. And guess what? He signed up. He only has one part left before he gets his GED. And his plan is to enroll in at Trident Tech. Today we were just talking about Trident Tech because a counselor told him that he can actually take some courses where if you have your certificate, you can still enroll in some of the courses to get him started. So he just said, you know what, Mom? I think I'm going to do that too. But I love the fact that he's so determined. But for him to say that he wanted his GED, that was I know he's ready, and I love that for him because he wants more. And as long as he wants more, I'm going to be there to support him.
To
2020.
get more.
So yes.
Yes.
So that was a great moment for us because he actually came to me and I didn't have to ask him. So he's more verbal about what he wants now.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow, that is awesome. That is really awesome. So he knew that he could not go to college with the certificate, so he wanted more. And see, that's something. When they wanted themselves, just like Joseph, people were so mad because the bus was late last week because the driver that they had, she was out.
Oh,
out all week. And I was calling over there, Mika. I was calling. I said, these men got to do better. They got to do better. And the thing about it is just communicate, because I was home, my husband was home because I've been out of work. I said, just communicate.
Right. Honey, so you would have known.
He called us, and he likes routine. So he's used to the bus being outside when he come outside. So they wasn't there. So honey, he was hot. He called us on the phone. I'm tired of these people being late, Mom. I'm tired of it. I got to get my license because I'm sick of this. I got to get y'all got to give me that car because I'm ready to drive. I got to go to this class.
He knows that bus was supposed to be there. You know?
Honey, he said, I got to get my license, Mama, because I am so sick of coming outside and this bus ain't here.
But I love it when they're determined, because when they're determined and they got that thought in their head, that thought is gonna process in their mind maybe about 20,000 times, but they're not gonna stop until it's done. And I love that. I love that though.
I said, well, honey, the car is out there waiting on you. Oh, Mama, but your car's so little. I'm going to get me another. I said, Mama will get her car, but you going to get Mama's car.
Tell Joseph he got to start somewhere now. He got to start somewhere.
Yes, Lord, honey, let me tell you, he was fired up. The bus was late. The next day, he go and call and say the same thing. I said, oh, Jesus. I said, this poor lady here. Then he get on the bus. He fussed the lady about her being. But anyway, Lord,
but I promise you, he's determined. So that's something that he wants to do. And if you notice, when there's something that they want to do, they're going to do it. They're going to do it.
Yes. He is so excited. He is ready to do it. He said, Mama, y'all got to sign me up for the class. Now, when we going to sign up for the class? I said, we going.
Yeah, but we did that too. We did that too. And it was a breath of fresh air because his mama was scared, but he did really good and I'm proud of him. So
where did y'all go? What class? Where did you take
We went to cruise control. They're off they were off of Trolley Road. They were at Trolley Road right past the car wash where they built that new car wash off of Trolley Road. Yeah. Like if you were going towards the post office on Dorchester.
Okay.
We're right there on the left-hand side, cruise control.
Okay. All righty. Well,
yeah, and I loved it because them out. I don't know if Joseph if he looking to get a job, but with Quan, with him, he was working at the Walmart. They would pick him, the gentleman would pick him up an hour and a half before his shift, and they would drive to like his job in different places so that way he could get a feel for the road,
where he went there, where he was at. Okay.
Exactly. Like places he would be driving.
Okay.
To make him feel comfortable.
Oh, okay. All righty. Well, I have to let Mr. Bailey know that I ain't gonna bother him now because he'll come out here while we on this live. Oh yeah, Mom, I want to go out there. Yeah, but I'll let him know. I didn't know it was one right in nearby in town. I didn't know that.
Right there.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, is it anything else you want to share that you may not have shared with any mother that? Something to encourage her and let her know that, she can do this thing, that, they can make it, her daddy, her.
Listen, every day is not going to be like sunny and, rainbows, but you will make it. You know what I mean? Just give yourself and your child grace and patience because, honey, you will need all of that. And although with Quan, he was high functioning, and that was something that Michelle was saying too. He looked like a normal kid. So people didn't know that. But again, just take one day at a time And
Mhm.
there will be moments where you need to take 1 to 2 minutes to yourself. And if you have to do that, it's okay.
Take a break. Take a
Take
break.
a break and say, you know what? Let's come back to this.
Hmm.
Because there were times I would find myself when I first got this diagnosis that I didn't know what to do. I was clueless. Like no
Hmm.
one has ever been diagnosed in my family before this. So
Hmm.
this was all new to me, new to my family. And if it hadn't been for my village, my mama, my sister, my older children, I probably would have been, whew, I I was over it because there
Hmm.
were moments where I couldn't even help him, and there's nothing like feeling helpless and you can't help your own child through whatever that crisis is at that time. You know,
Exactly.
so that was a lot. And
Mhm.
again, thank God for my village because they would come in and take them for a couple hours just so that I can get my house together or comb
Get a
my hair
break.
or take a shower or whatever the case may have been. You know,
Hmm.
and I'm thankful for them because if it had not been for them, I would have really struggled. But
Yep.
thank God we're here 20 years later. We're doing good. No, we're doing great. And
Yes.
God is good.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
Yes.
Yes, Lord. He will do it every time. He will do it every time. Well, I
Listen,
thank
he
you so much for sharing, Mika. I thank you so much. Thank you for coming
no
on. This
problem.
has been awesome, awesome, awesome. I appreciate you. I thank you for coming
Anytime.
on. This has been wonderful.
Yes, it has.
Yes, ma'am. I got one young lady. This amazing young lady is out of Columbia, South Carolina. I want to thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for blessing us
Thank you
with
for
your
having
amazing
me.
journey with your son Quan. I'm gonna try to reach out to this young lady out of
Okay.
Columbia. I'm gonna try to send her a message. I might have to try to call her. I'm
Oh well.
trying to send the link. Maybe if I send it to her individually, I'm gonna give her a few minutes. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. I don't want to cut it off and have to come back in. I'll cut it off and come back in.
Uh-oh.
What happened? I know I got her name. I know I got her name in there already. I'm gonna go ahead and put her name up, Mika.
All right.
Take you
Thank you again for
backstage.
having
Thank
me.
you so much, sweetie. Thank you. All righty, everyone. I just need y'all to give me a commercial break for just a few minutes. Just a few minutes. Just give me a commercial break just for a few minutes. Try to get this last mom up on the stage, and then we're gonna carry on, and she's gonna come and share her journey, and we will be done. I thank you all for your patience tonight. This has been absolutely amazing. To God be all the glory. All the glory, glory, glory. All the glory. Let me see. All righty, ladies, I'm going to give you a few more minutes. I thank you all for your time on the Candid Conversations tonight. This has been very interesting. I just sent Miss Badger the link. I'm going to give her a few minutes to get on. And if she joins us, then we will carry on. And if not, we're going to get on off. But I thank you guys so much for being with us tonight. This has been a very special marathon. And I am just excited for all that we've been able to accomplish tonight. I am so grateful for all of the moms that's been able to come on and share their journey with us tonight. This has been absolutely amazing. Amazing. Yes. This has been amazing. I am so grateful. We have been able to sponsor this tonight. All of the women in the whole Women in Progress community. This has been absolutely amazing. We sponsor this every year, and this has been very different. This has been very different tonight, but it was well worth it. God has instructed me to do it different tonight, and I did, and it was absolutely amazing. I am so grateful and thankful. We'll give her a few minutes to get the link and come on in and join us. This is an amazing story. All of these ladies have amazing stories, very awesome and amazing moms, and just doing great things with their children. Truly a blessing. Everybody's story is different. Every child is different. Every unique situation is different. And just so grateful to God for continuing to grace us and bless us to be the amazing moms that we are. Oh God, this thing hurting. But I am so thankful. So thankful for all that He's continuing to do in our lives. Oh man. So thankful, and so grateful. Yes. Yes, Lord. To God be the glory. To God be the glory. Mm-hmm. The glory. Yeah. Got her bio right here ready to read it. Give her a few more minutes. I'm not sure if she had a situation come up with her daughter, so I'm going to give her a couple more minutes. I'm not absolutely sure what happened, but I want to tell you thank you all tonight for joining. I will possibly try to bring her on at another time. Um, I wanted to finish telling y'all about my journey. Joseph and I started his journey at about 2.5. Me and his father, we got the diagnosis, like I said earlier, and it was a journey. It has been a journey that we have been on for 16 years. He is continuing to grow and blossom into an amazing young man. He's in high school now. He's a 10th grader. And he's continuing to do great things. He's excelling. He's AB honor roll student. Um, He had a lot of behavior in elementary school, but as he grew, as he evolved, as he continued to excel, minimum behavior, just growing and being a wonderful young man, doing great things and becoming an amazing young man. Um, One of the most challenging things is that we had to adjust in different environments depending on where we were. Um, wasn't always good transitions, but it was a necessary transitions. But we were able to adjust wherever we went, and we traveled and went everywhere. Everywhere we went, he went, and he's just developed into an mighty young, an amazing young man. I've advocated with adults and children for over 20 years. I love what I do. I love supporting and helping other families. I'm an advocate for special needs families. And that's something that I enjoy doing, and I love it. Um, Worked in special needs adults and children um, in various different capacities, teacher assistant, bus driver for special needs, worked in special needs classrooms, worked at different disability boards, worked at institution that take care of special needs adults in low country, and I enjoy what I do, and it's been a journey. Not even knowing all of that happened before I even had Joseph, so um, I'm just excited to continue on the journey. That's just a little bit about me, and if you're looking for an advocate, reach out to me. I'm gonna put my Calendly out, and just book me when you need me to support you in whatever capacity. My schedule will be there and my hourly rates. I love you guys. God bless you all. Thank you for joining the marathon on tonight. God bless you all and have an amazing evening. Thank you, Whole Women in Progress, for hosting this amazing event again. Another successful year. Love you guys. And just remember, when you come in contact with autism families and their children, be kind, be loving, and understand that we have to provide another level of parenting, and it behooves you guys to be kind. Love you all and have a phenomenal night.